or he attempted to have me unalived because of him making a sexual pass at me. It wasn't the sexual pass that frustrated me the most. What made me most frustrated was the fact that he tried to unalive me after it, when in reality, even though I was drugged, even though I was violated, I never thought that the next step would be my life being threatened because you got turned down.
Nobody expected this mess to explode like this, but here we are again, watching another celebrity situation spiral out of control in real time. Just when things looked like they were settling down, a brand new accusation popped up and turned everything upside down again. And now, all eyes are on Stefon, Offset, and Cardi B because this whole thing is getting way too messy to ignore. So here's what's got people talking right now. A man recently stepped forward making some wild claims about Stefon, and the timing alone raised eyebrows instantly. This didn't come out of nowhere either, because just days earlier, Offset was already being accused of trying to set Stefon up in a completely different situation. First, there were whispers that Offset allegedly tried to lure Stefon into cheating with an IG model, and before that even had time to cool off, rumors started flying that someone was trying to line Stefon up to get jumped. That's a whole lot of chaos back to back. Now, Cardi B is not staying quiet this time, not even a little. She's fully convinced that Offset is behind this new situation, and she's had enough. From her point of view, this looks like a bitter move from someone who can't let go and refuses to stop stirring the pot. And from the way she's moving, this feels like the final straw that pushed her over the edge. Cardi has already made it clear how she feels about men who move funny, and she didn't hold back at all. She basically warned people that when she speaks on situations like this, she's not exaggerating. In her eyes, certain men will do anything, say anything, and drag anyone into nonsense just to feel like they still have control. And every time people think Offset can't possibly go lower, something else happens that proves otherwise. But this time feels different. This isn't just internet noise or petty drama anymore. Allegedly setting someone up to be accused of something serious is a line Cardi is not willing to let slide. From her perspective, this isn't about jealousy or clout. It's about someone playing dangerous games with real consequences. And Cardi is not known for letting things like that go quietly. Here's where the story takes another turn. A man named Bib Banks recently hinted that he had information about the boyfriend of a female rapper. He didn't name names, but the clues were loud enough that people immediately started connecting dots on their own. Based on the timing and the way the hints were dropped, many assumed he was talking about Cardi's circle. Now let's be clear, this wasn't presented as proof or receipts, just suggestive talk meant to get attention. Bibb Banks is known for making adult content, very graphic adult content, and he openly talks about his lifestyle. Because of that, some people believe his comments were meant to spark rumors rather than expose real facts. But once something like that hits the internet, people run with it whether it's true or not. That's where things start getting messy for Stefon. There have been rumors floating around for a while claiming he lives a double life, and this situation poured gasoline on those old whispers. Again, these are rumors, not facts, but the timing made it look way too convenient for Cardi to ignore, especially considering everything else that had already happened leading up to this moment. From Cardi's point of view, this didn't feel random at all. It felt calculated. The pattern looked familiar to her, and she wasn't buying the coincidence excuse. When situations line up this perfectly back to back, it starts to feel like someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. And Cardi made it clear she's tired of the games. What really has people shook is how fast everything escalated. One minute it's cheating rumors, the next it's accusations and subliminals flying everywhere. That's why Cardi allegedly believes this was meant to embarrass Stefon and cause chaos in her personal life. And if that's true, she's not letting it slide quietly. At this point, fans are split. Some think this is all a setup meant to distract and damage reputations. Others believe there might be truth mixed in with the mess. Either way, the situation is spiraling fast, and Cardi looks more determined than ever to finally shut the door on Offset's involvement in her life for good. And if history tells us anything, when Cardi feels disrespected, she doesn't back down. She goes all the way in. This story is far from over, and the next move could change everything. Things didn't slow down after that at all. They actually got louder. Just when people thought the situation couldn't get any messier, Bibb decided to step forward again, and this time it felt way more serious than before. You could tell from his energy that whatever he was holding in was starting to boil over. Bibb followed up with another statement where he basically said he hated having to do this, but he felt forced to finally speak up about things he had kept private for a long time. That alone told everyone this wasn't just internet chatter anymore. When someone says they've been quiet for a reason and are now ready to talk, you already know it's about to get heavy. At that point, people knew the situation was about to turn into real tea, not just hints and whispers. Nobody expected how deep it would go, though. This wasn't casual shade. This felt like someone gearing up to expose something they believed was buried. And once that door opened, there was no closing it again. Then things took another turn when Bibb shared and quickly removed a conversation that showed him talking to Chris Griffith. That name instantly rang bells for people who remember last year's drama. Chris is the same man who previously accused Stefan of doing him wrong, so Bibb reaching out to him didn't feel random at all. In that conversation, Chris seemed confused at first, asking why a message about Stefan had suddenly been unsent. Bibb responded by saying he had just learned more about who Chris was and that he respected his privacy.
Anymore. I can't take it anymore. Sometimes I sleep and I wonder, like, yo, this is not normal. You see crime documentaries, you see on social media about women getting killed the other day, and on the truth, like, it's like I'm a real tough, like I'm a tough, but you can never. There's a difference between being tough, and there's a difference between somebody having an unhealthy obsession with you that you have to you gotta be concerned. And I'm really starting to be concerned. And I'm so tired because I want to detach myself from and it's like it just doesn't stop. And it's like, when does it fucking stop?
He hinted that Chris should tell his story when the time was right, almost like he was encouraging him without pushing too hard. Chris replied respectfully, saying he felt bad about what had happened and that he didn't mind speaking up, but he'd need approval from his team first. That response alone showed this wasn't clout chasing. Chris sounded cautious, controlled, and very aware of the consequences of speaking publicly. Now here's the part that made people pause. That conversation actually happened back in October of 2024. That's important because it places this exchange just a few months after Chris was attacked in an elevator, an incident that later led to Stefan's brother being found guilty. Suddenly, the timeline made everything feel connected. Because of that timing, it looks like Bibb may have been searching for someone who had already been through a similar situation with Stefan. That would explain why he reached out to Chris specifically. It wasn't about gossip. It looked more like someone trying to confirm patterns or shared experiences. So naturally, people started asking the big question: what exactly is going on between Bibb and Stefan? According to reports, Bibb is now claiming that Stefan wronged him as well, and he's allegedly considering legal action. That would explain why the post and screenshots disappeared so fast. If lawyers are involved, silence suddenly makes a lot more sense. When legal moves are on the table, people start deleting fast because every word can be used against them. And that quick cleanup had people convinced this situation was way more serious than Bibb initially let on. Chris being involved only added more weight to the story. Last year, he claimed Stefan had done something similar to him, and his story didn't come from nowhere. Chris works as a stylist and is constantly around celebrities, which means he's not some random outsider trying to insert himself. A lot of people remember the footage of Chris being attacked in an elevator by multiple men. That video shocked many because it showed how real-life situations can spill over into violence when things go too far. The fact that Stefan's brother was later found guilty made the situation even heavier. Now people are starting to look at everything differently. Bibb reaching out to Chris doesn't feel like coincidence anymore. It feels like someone connecting dots behind the scenes long before the public ever caught on. At this point, nobody is saying these claims are proven facts. But when multiple people start telling similar stories, it forces people to pay attention. Whether this ends up in court or fades into silence depends on what happens next. One thing is clear though, this situation isn't just internet drama anymore. It's layered, emotional, and possibly legal. And as more pieces come together, the truth is starting to feel closer than ever. But here's the part a lot of people missed. This whole situation didn't actually start where most folks think it did. According to Chris, the tension between him and Stefan had already been building days earlier, way before things blew up publicly. And that's where the story takes a sharp turn that made people really stop and listen. Chris claims everything started at an event he attended with Stefan Diggs. What was supposed to be a regular industry setting allegedly turned uncomfortable fast. Chris says the vibe shifted out of nowhere and things didn't feel right at all. He later alleged that his drink may have been tampered with and that Stefan made unwanted advances toward him afterward. These are allegations, not proven facts, but the claims alone shocked a lot of people. What made it even messier was Chris saying this wasn't random. He claimed Stefan had already tried flirting with him earlier and he shut it down immediately. Chris says he made his stance very clear and didn't leave room for confusion. From his point of view, that should have been the end of it, but allegedly it wasn't. At first, Chris didn't even want to speak out publicly. He claims he tried to handle things quietly and responsibly, but according to him, everything changed after he was attacked later on. That moment allegedly flipped a switch, making him feel like staying silent wasn't protecting him anymore. Chris says he reached out to multiple people in the industry, hoping someone would listen or help him handle things privately. Big names were contacted, but the response he got was cold. According to Chris, nobody wanted to touch the situation, and no one wanted to get involved in something that uncomfortable. One message that stood out came from Drake, and the tone shocked a lot of people. In the conversation, Drake explained that he didn't feel right about being involved and said that kind of situation didn't align with how he moves. He made it clear that where he's from, people handle their own issues and don't involve others in personal conflicts. He said it made him uncomfortable and that it wasn't something he could support. That response basically summed up how the industry treated Chris. Nobody took his side publicly, nobody defended him, and nobody wanted their name attached to the drama. That left Chris feeling isolated and cornered. Eventually, he felt like calling Stefan out himself was the only option left. Once things went public, the situation spiraled fast. Stefan eventually had enough and filed a lawsuit against Chris about 2 weeks ago. In that lawsuit, Stefan denied all allegations, including claims that he drugged or harmed Chris in any way. From Stefan's side, the accusations were false and damaging to his reputation. But the story didn't stop there. Chris fired back with a countersuit just days later. His legal team made it clear that he was ready to defend himself in court. According to his lawyer, Chris is prepared to show evidence and testimony to support his version of events, despite what they described as a carefully crafted narrative from Stefan's high-powered legal team. The lawyer also stated that Chris plans to show the court that he was affected by what he describes as unwanted advances and the aftermath involving Stefan's brother. Those are strong claims, and now the situation has officially moved beyond social media and into the legal system. Now here's where everything connects back to Bibb and why Cardi B is furious. Insiders are saying Cardi believes this pattern of accusations, timing, and silence didn't happen by accident. From her perspective, it feels like someone is pulling strings and stirring chaos behind the scenes. According to people close to Cardi, she's convinced Offset is playing a dirty game. She allegedly believes he's using old situations, sensitive accusations, and vulnerable moments to damage Stefan's image and create non-stop drama. Whether that's true or not, Cardi is clearly not buying the coincidence narrative. In her eyes, too many things lined up too perfectly, too quickly. The resurfacing of old claims, new voices stepping forward, and legal drama exploding all at once feels strategic to her. And that belief is what's pushing her to finally draw a hard line. At this point, nothing has been proven in court and all sides are standing firm. But the situation is bigger than rumors now. Lawsuits are filed, reputations are on the line, and emotions are running high. One thing is clear though. This isn't random internet drama anymore. This is a serious, layered situation with real consequences. And as more details come out, the truth is going to hit a lot harder than anyone expected. Now, here's where things really start to connect in a way that makes people uncomfortable. If another man steps forward accusing Stefan of the same kind of behavior, it automatically makes Chris's claims feel more believable to a lot of people. And according to insiders, Cardi doesn't believe any of this is happening because Offset suddenly cares about victims or truth. In her mind, this is about control, image, and humiliation. From Cardi's point of view, Offset's main goal is simple and ugly. She believes he wants to publicly label her man in a certain way and use that stigma as a weapon. And people close to her say this wasn't random or emotional, it was strategic. The moves were slow, calculated, and spaced out for maximum damage. Cardi allegedly feels this whole thing was planned step by step. First, there was that graphic video that suddenly leaked. At the time, many people assumed Stefan was with a woman, but whispers started spreading that the person in the video might not be who everyone thought. According to sources close to Cardi, she believes that leak was intentional and meant to spark speculation. That's not confirmed, but Cardi allegedly feels the timing wasn't accidental at all. In her eyes, it fit perfectly into a bigger pattern. After that video surfaced, blind items started popping up left and right, all pushing the same narrative. And she believes Offset was behind those too. Several blind items painted Stefan in a very specific light. One claimed a former A-list female rapper and her new boyfriend had something disturbing in common. Another suggested an NFL player goes out of his way to be seen with women to quiet long-standing rumors. These were anonymous claims, not facts, but the consistency raised eyebrows. Another blind item went even further, linking multiple accusations together in a way that felt deliberate. Again, none of this has been proven, but when stories line up back to back like that, people start questioning motives, and Cardi definitely is. From her perspective, Offset had been putting energy into tearing Stefan down for a while, and the timing makes that belief stronger. Just days before all this exploded, Offset himself was exposed in text messages that didn't paint him in the best light at all. Those messages allegedly showed Offset being reckless and disrespectful. In one exchange, he was accused of pressuring someone to help set things up behind the scenes. When confronted, he allegedly brushed it off instead of taking accountability. That only added fuel to the fire. Instead of laying low, Offset reportedly decided to make things even messier. He allegedly made a shocking claim that Cardi and Stefan's child was actually his. That statement stunned people, not just because it was inappropriate, but because of the history behind it. In the past, Offset publicly questioned paternity involving Cardi, which forced her to go above and beyond to prove the truth. That situation was already painful and personal. Bringing anything like that back into the conversation now felt unnecessary and disrespectful to many people watching. It's important to be clear here. No claims about children's feelings or behaviors are facts, and nobody can speak on that but the parents. Any commentary around that should be handled carefully and respectfully. The real issue is how adults are using sensitive topics as weapons. From Cardi's side, this felt like another attempt to poke, provoke, and cause emotional chaos. Instead of moving forward, she believes Offset keeps dragging old wounds back into the spotlight, and that's why she's finally had enough. What makes this situation darker is the belief that serious accusations are being used as tools in a personal war. If that's true, it cheapens real issues and puts innocent people in the crossfire. That's the part Cardi allegedly finds unforgivable. At this point, nothing has been proven in court regarding these claims. Everything remains allegations, opinions, and beliefs from different sides. But the pattern, the timing, and the repeated escalation are what have people paying attention. This doesn't feel like random drama anymore. It feels like a calculated mess where egos, jealousy, and bitterness are driving decisions. And if Cardi's instincts are right, she's not backing down this time. The situation keeps getting heavier by the day, and the fallout is far from over. Whether the truth comes out quietly or explodes publicly, one thing is clear. This mess was never accidental. After Offset got exposed by that woman, things didn't calm down at all. They actually got worse, way worse. New rumors started spreading that he was allegedly trying to set Stefan up to get seriously hurt. And according to people close to the situation, this wasn't just talk anymore, it felt like real danger was creeping in. Someone with inside knowledge allegedly confirmed that Offset was moving reckless behind the scenes. It was even claimed that his former assistant's ex-girlfriend became aware of what was going on and felt disturbed by it. The word going around was that Stefon had become the main target, not Cardi, and that crossed a line nobody should ever cross. Because of how intense things were getting, both Stefan and Cardi reportedly took immediate steps to protect themselves. Protection orders were filed, and the situation was treated like a real threat, not internet drama. What made it even scarier was that messages allegedly came in just a day after Offset made those wild public statements. Cardi eventually hit her breaking point. She went public and made it clear she wasn't laughing anymore. She said people think this stuff is funny, but it's not, especially when it's been going on for over a year. According to her, the constant harassment and threats made her feel like her life was actually in danger. She made it clear this wasn't about attention or clout. In her words, situations like this can turn ugly fast, and one wrong move could change everything. She begged to be left alone, saying she was tired, stressed, and genuinely scared of where things were headed. In another moment of honesty, Cardi admitted she feared becoming another tragic headline. She said she didn't want her life to end up as a documentary people watch after it's too late. That statement shook a lot of people because it showed how heavy this situation really is. As more details came out, insiders started saying Stefon may have been the real target all along. The cheating rumors, the accusations, the chaos, it all allegedly led back to one goal: destroying his reputation. And the most serious allegations might have been where things went way too far. According to people close to Cardi, she believes Offset didn't act alone. She's convinced he allegedly paid Bib Banks to push false claims about Stefon, just like she believes bloggers were used to spread fake stories about her. From her perspective, this wasn't random gossip. It was a campaign. And things started lining up when bloggers began speaking out themselves. One blogger, Sweet Tea, publicly accused Offset and another blogger of feeding fake stories meant to humiliate Cardi. Sweet Tea claimed she was sent weak, recycled drama that didn't even make sense. She also called out another blogger who allegedly stayed in her messages all summer trying to stir things up. According to Sweet Tea, that blogger got mad after being exposed and suddenly went quiet. To Cardi's supporters, that made everything look even more suspicious. People also started questioning how Offset allegedly had money to throw around for mess while simultaneously being labeled broke by critics. The math wasn't mathing for a lot of folks. And every time Stefon's name came up, another piece of chaos followed right behind it. That's what really had people talking. No matter where the drama started, Offset's name always seemed to pop up somewhere in the middle. Whether it was rumors, blind items, or leaked stories, he was never far from the mess. And here's the wild part. Insiders say this isn't over. If someone is really pulling strings like that, they don't just stop out of nowhere, which is why people believe Cardi has been quietly planning her next move. According to sources, whatever she does next is going to change everything. She's allegedly done playing defense and ready to shut the situation down completely. And if history tells us anything, Cardi doesn't bluff when she's pushed this far. So stay locked in because this story is far from finished. The next chapter could get explosive, and you already know the fallout is going to be insane.